Good evening, everybody. It is time again for the Tricktrades video watch list for June 19th. It's been a busy weekend for myself, but I think there's quite a few good opportunities on this list. We'll get into it here. MYO, it's a recent IPO, so I'm hoping Vision has some borrows on it. It was up a lot yesterday, or Friday. And I think it's gonna pull back a little bit before it makes its next leg up, if it makes its next leg up. Um, this had to do with a chat room pump as well, so I believe the pump is over. It's a shame because I actually wanted to pick this up right at 11. It was kind of hovering around that area. It was dipping in and out, but it was mainly holding that 11 area. But the spreads, they were so fucking brutal. I couldn't get in. At times they were 50 cents, and I mean, you got to be able to manage your risk, and there's no way to manage your risk. Even with a small position, you're still down way too much instantly. I mean, in hindsight, obviously, should have just bought in, but I mean, there's a lot of hindsight bullshit when it comes to trading. So I will be watching short on this. I think it is going to pull back, but like I said, we're going to have to wait and see what actually happens. CLSN, I'm looking for it to fill the gap back down to, I don't know, somewhere in this area. Might only come down to here. But there's a good 30-40 cents of short play here. So we'll see what happens. HOS, this is on breakout. It had a really strong day. Usually when stocks gap up and continue higher for the day, there's usually some continuation in them. It just shows it's a good sign of strength when they actually gap and continue instead of gapping and crapping. But the 3 level is really important. If you go back on the daily here, I thought there was some even further back. No. There's a lot of resistance in the way here. So right around the 320s, 310s. So we'll definitely have to watch this, but it could. It cleared the 9, it cleared the 20. So I think it has some room to run. We'll see. It's a really strong stock right now, large volume. So I mean, there's going to be a lot of support in it. I mean, it's downtrending, and then it kind of popped up, and it's putting in a higher low. So we'll see. TMXD. This might have got a little bit ahead of itself. It's coming into a lot of resistance as well. I mean, that's a lot of resistance. I mean, you go back through the daily. I mean, tons of times does it tap this area. So I would expect a little bit of a pullback. I mean, I don't know if it'll go all the way back down, but it should be able to at least dip it back to 5. And I mean, that's 35 cents a share. That's a fair size gain. So WKHS. This has been on and off my watch list for quite a while. It's finally broken that 4 level, and that's so crucial. So I'm expecting it to continue from here. From time to time, it does love to give multiple green days, and since it's broken the 4 and is now held it, even if it dips down, I'm going to look for a reclaim to 4 and then a push to this 450 area. It just seems like it's going to go, but I mean, price action is king. We'll have to wait and see. CGI, I'm looking for a continuation to the long side on this, right into this gap fill area of about up to about 4. And then we'll see what happens. But there's still a point of play. It's a, I don't know. I wouldn't say it's a slow mover. These candles look small, but there's a fair bit of action in this one candle. I mean, that was 55 cents. So, if we can get a good green day, and I mean, volume it's kind of steadily in there. It hasn't really spiked up or anything. It's kind of maxed out at the 2 million in share range both days. But I mean, that's more than liquid for what we're doing, right, guys? So looking forward to this. This one will be a heavy watch. VSLR, This chart looks amazing, but if you take a better look at it, it's a fairly slow mover, right? But it had a really big day on Friday. I mean, that really got ahead of itself. It's coming into where it's tapped before to previous highs. But if it can get over this 4 area, I mean, it can run. It's been consolidating for a really long time, like for over a year now. So that's usually a strength sign as well. But we'll see that it had a really big day on Friday compared to prior price action. It's went parabolic. So usually after a parabolic candle, you can see here it likes to taper back, but it has been consolidating for a long time. So this one is just a wait and see type of thing. I mean, if it breaks 4 with authority, I'll consider a long on it. But if it gives an indication of weakness in the morning, I will look to short it. CVNA, I still have a little bit of research I got to do on this to find out lockup dates on it, to see when they're able to dump their shares. So until I determine that, I don't really want to trade it, because if it is still another month or two until they can actually dump their shares, because there is an offering, but there's usually a lockup period where the shareholders cannot dump their shares, usually for a few months. So I mean, we're getting into that area where it potentially could, but I will look to long this until that lockup period, as long as it's a fair ways away, because they will try and drive this stock up. So we'll see. But this one, I mean, I love this daily for a short. I mean, it's already kind of ridiculous here, and every day it seems to be getting stupider and stupider. I mean, there's a lot of range each day. So RXDX, coming up to that magic $10 resistance area. It has been up there before, right? But it doesn't look like it lasts long up there. So I'm looking for a short. I'm looking more short on this. Plus the price action really got ahead of itself. I mean, it had almost 2 points of play, $1.50 of play there on Friday. Those are big days, and it usually likes to. It looks like it wants to pull back after 3-4 green days, right? Not a huge pullback, but I'm not looking to short it back all the way down. I'm just looking for a day trade on this stuff. OMER, this has been a steady climb, very strong though. I do want to short this at some point, but it's so strong. These top wicks though, this top wick on this candle, I mean, it tapped the 25, came up into it. It couldn't hold it and is pulled back. Good 1.5 on it. So we'll have to wait and see. I really want to short it, because I think once this goes red, it's going to have a couple point pull on it. XBIT, oh, it's on the 2-day. Shit. Sorry, guys. The past couple of charts were on a 2-day. Anyways, I'm not going to go back and redo it. You guys can look at the daily charts yourselves. So on XBIT, it's finally broken that this trend line, right? So I am expecting more continuation to the downside. I mean, this can go all the way down. It can go back in. It can go into the dollar range. So, excuse me. So we'll see what happens. I mean, people are just. I would hope they would just be getting out of this fucking position. I mean, it's an absolute piece of shit. We've seen this scenario in biotech stocks over and over and over again. I don't know why people get involved in these in the long term. They're looking for that hold and hope bullshit, and that just doesn't work in trading, guys. You can't be doing that. I know there's investors and then there's trading, but don't be investing in a biotech stock. A lot of them are just garbage, right? I mean, they all end this way right here. They have a good run up, things look good, and then boom, they get hit with a gap, and then boom, they get hit with bad news again. So guys, just day trade these. Don't be holding and hoping. So now that it has actually broken that little bit of a trend line, it wasn't much of one, but it's like a bear flag, right? I'll be looking to short this. So that's it. That's the Trick Trades video watch list for June 19th. I hope you guys enjoyed, and remember, off of this list, there are countless plays in the day. So just focus on this. Quit worrying about the hot stock of the day. That's going to get you fucking nowhere. The sooner you guys realize that, the better off you're going to be. You don't need to play the hot stock of the day. Remember, that hot stock of today will be tomorrow's play. That's when it's going to really tell you the way the price action is going. So, Jesus, these things. I will see you guys bright and early in the morning, and I hope everyone had a really good weekend. Thanks, guys.